Good morning, everyone. It is September 4th, 2018. Guys, if you guys haven't already tell from the title, it's going to be a little different than normal. I'm going to be debunking one video that I have found, and this guy puts out a ton of videos on Yellowstone. If you just go to the search bar on YouTube and type in Yellowstone SuperVolcano, good chances are you'll find this guy's videos and other ones like it. Now, I was asked by my subscribers to look into Yellowstone, and then someone also asked me to just debunk the people who are putting out fear porn, essentially. And that's what I'm going to do, because I'm tired of it as well. Because when you listen to the videos, and this one in particular that was uploaded just a day ago, and the guy seems to get a lot of views, a lot of likes, and it's kind of scary, because it's, you know, people are buying into it. You know, people are getting scared, and that he's purposely driving them back to his channel because they think he's informed, and that he's letting them know of what's really going on, when he truly has no idea. And you can clearly tell by some of the stuff he just rambles on about. So I'm just going to jump into it. We'll go ahead and start this now. You've probably seen at least one of his videos, Dr. ShawnFost. He's not a doctor. There's no way this man's a doctor. If he's a doctor, I'm a doctor. Here we go.
Yellowstone, it's a danger zone. I mean, really it is, folks. The supervolcano earthquake swarm now passes 1,500 tremors or quakes. 1,500 quakes.
Okay, so before we even go on, he's already laying it out as if there's a ton of earthquakes occurring at Yellowstone. As he said, 1,500 earthquakes have occurred. Let me let you know this right now, okay? So there is, on average, and this is something you can easily prove and look up yourself. There is on average 1,000 to 3,000 earthquakes each year in Yellowstone. And as a matter of fact, in 1985, there was over 3,000 earthquakes that occurred in just 3 months. Okay? He is talking about an earthquake swarm that's been going on since July and is all the way to September, and it's only reached, it said like 1,500, a little over 1,000 earthquakes, and he's trying to say something crazy is going on at Yellowstone. Right there, we're 22 seconds in, already BS.
Matter of fact, the observers have now recorded more than 1,500 earthquakes on the western edge of Yellowstone National Park as part of an ongoing swarm. Currently, the swarm began on June 12th, and as of today, 562 earthquakes. Utah's seismograph station is saying. A spokesperson for the United States told Newsweek that the activity appeared to be slowly winding down, but incidents have not. They've continued. We've even had some stronger ones again. And the largest...
Yeah, they've continued because they're on average to continue. 1,500 is still below what they can get. So, yeah.
Of the quakes was a 4.4, the biggest recorded earthquake on the supervolcano there at Yellowstone National Park in Montana since 2014. And a further 8 events registered in magnitude 3 or more. The quakes have been occurring at between 0 and 14 kilometers. That's very shallow. And
I mean, it's really not that shallow, considering if you look up the chamber depth underneath Yellowstone, it's only around 10 kilometers. So, yeah, it's really not that shallow, bro.
5 of the quakes have been reported by people in the area are being felt above ground. A vast supervolcano slumbers beneath Yellowstone National Park, with some experts claiming that any future eruption could prove catastrophic for humanity. What?
Okay, before we continue, what scientist honestly believes that this eruption at Yellowstone will be a super eruption? Because before the last super eruption, there were smaller eruptions which had occurred and lasted 4 years before the super event occurred. So there's only been three super eruptions at Yellowstone. You had Huckleberry Ridge, you had the Mesa Falls, and you also had Lava Creek. That's 3. Okay? But there's numerous craters and events that have happened at Yellowstone. So not every eruption that occurs there is a super eruption.
What?
But also, Yellowstone is overdue for an eruption. We are not overdue for a super eruption.
I'm telling you. But Good news is this. Jamie Farrell, a research professor at the University of Utah, also told Newsweek that the series of quakes is unlikely to lead to a volcanic eruption because earthquake swarms are a common event. But they're not common. Not 1,500 of these. Not 1,500 of these.
Yes. Yes, they are. They are extremely common. And if you did any bit of research, if you're an actual doctor, I swear to God, you would know this. I find this very troubling that you're able to put out these videos and you did no bit of research. You're just simply just fear-mongering. That's all you're doing. You're just talking.
When a volcano starts acting up prior to an eruption, one of the typical signs is increased seismic activity. Duh! But however, he said, it is usually just one of the signs of an impending eruption. Other signs include large changes in surface deformation. Well, it's raised 2 feet. Changes to the height.
Okay, so as you said, it's raised 2 feet. Well, just so you know, volcanoes breathe. So if it's raised 2 feet, how much is it deflated prior? Because in some places, the ground rises tons. So in 2004, the caldera started rising at rates of 2.8 inches a year. And in some places, it cycles between about every 15, or for at least for the past 15,000 years, it's been cycling between inflation and deflation periods. So, you know, it just baffles me that you use these little things assuming, or, you know, stating that it's something crazy is going on. This happens. It happens. The caldera rose 7 inches between 1976 and 1984 before dropping 5.5 inches over the next decade. You know why? Because volcanoes breathe.
Hydrothermal system, they've had unbelievable hot, scalding hot water in some of these springs. They've had the pavement melt. They've had animals running out of Yellowstone in herds.
False. I have only seen one report, and it was a report of a bison leaving the park and going down towards Utah. That's the only report I have seen. That is nothing compared to what a stampeding amount of animals would look like leading up to a super eruption or just a normal eruption. You gotta understand, there's gas. They feel the tremors. They feel, I don't know what they feel exactly, not specifically, but you know it's nothing prior. It's nothing what it would look like, as I said, like a stampeding amount of animals getting out of a park compared to the one report of a bison leaving. You know, it's just, again, fear-mongering.
Look, folks, this is what's going on. We have a serious situation here. There's no question about it. I've been watching earthquakes now every day for 7 years. Every day for 7 years, I've been watching what's going on with the earthquakes and the seismic activity and all the different things that happen. I can tell you right now, this is a very serious situation.
No. I mean, in all honesty, you could watch this for another 50 years, and if you didn't research, and you would still not be able to comprehend what you're actually viewing, because you're simply talking about what's going on. Yeah, if you have, you've heard ignorance is bliss. That's essentially what you're doing. You know enough to kind of get yourself in trouble. You don't know enough to verify and actually have an educated opinion on what you're saying. You're just telling people what you think is going to happen, and you're reading reports online to kind of verify what your thought process is. That doesn't make it true. It's nonsense.
And they know it. We have two. Which one do you want to say? Which is more dangerous? The supervolcano rumbling, the asteroid 2012 TC4 approaching, or North Korea's Kim Jong-un becoming Kim Jong-boom and Kim Jong-soon. What?
Again, just utter nonsense. I mean, just are you trying to scare people for no reason? I mean, I could sit there and debunk every single little thing you just said right there. It's just utter nonsense, and I'm not going to. Oh my God, this just it saddens me. You have as many, views and likes as you do on these videos.
So I'm just saying. This is very serious, very serious, very, very serious. I am keeping a close eye on it. I realize that the times we live in, things do happen, and you got to stay on top of it. And so I'm just saying, Jesus said there'd be wars and rumors of wars. Okay? False Christ and false prophets would rise, and they shall deceive many.
Before we continue, I want to make this very clear. It's not that I'm not religious. I would like to keep science in its own lane, though, because science, there's a lot of things you can prove, okay? So natural disasters have been occurring long before the Bible was written and long before man was on earth. So just talking about saying the Bible says these things are going to happen means nothing to me because they were happening before the book was even written. And, someone who's educated in past geological events can tell you what's going to happen in the future if they know the past. It's honestly not that hard. Anyone can be looked at as a prophet. Someone can put out a book. If they know the past good enough, you can predict in certain areas what's going to happen in the future because it happens. It always occurs. That's how I feel about this. Your view on the Bible saying what's going on is prophesized. It's just nonsense.
You shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines, pestilences, earth.
Which, again, if you look back in history, has always been happening. Kingdoms have been fighting. Empires have been fighting. There's always been earthquakes. There's always been, plagues. There's always been death around us. Always.
Quakes in diverse places, and all of these are the beginning of sorrows. Yellowstone! I've been telling you about this. I've been warning you guys now for what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? Yellowstone, something biblical is going on.
As I said, and I hope you guys are starting to understand, truly nothing biblical is happening at Yellowstone. Yes, there is an uptick in the geyser, Steamboat Geysers activity. But other than that, there has been anything notable. There's no increased gas activity. There's still no uptick in average of earthquake amounts. There's no crazy inflation in certain areas. There's nothing like that. The only thing we're having is an increased amount of geyser activity, which does show that lava is getting close to the surface, which was the only reason why we have these features in the first place. Something is causing it to erupt more often. So obviously, lava is coming closer to the surface, but that is all, and that is all that's going on currently.
With the signs of the second coming of Christ, the SuperVolcano at Yellowstone National Park has awoken. There's no question. This is a very rare power.
It's been awoken. I don't know. It never went to sleep. I'm not sure what you mean by that statement, sir.
Powerful quake. A 5.8 magnitude earthquake struck western Montana, briefly plunging a town into darkness, and powerful enough to knock down shells.
Notice, he doesn't state the location of where this occurred. He says Montana. So I looked this up. USGS has no idea what you're talking about. You posted this just the other day, so I did the last 30, and USGS has no recollection of a 5.8 quake occurring near Montana. There's no town plunged into darkness that I could find, because you didn't state the town. You just simply stated you just said a town in Montana suffered all these disasters because of this big old earthquake that happened that I can't find. So I'm curious where you even got that information from.
Break the glass and do other destructive damage within homes and buildings. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, it was the largest earthquake in western Montana in over 20 years. According to
again, I couldn't find it. So and if it didn't occur this year, and I'm just looking back, I'm not looking back far enough. Fair enough. But if it didn't occur in the past couple months, it doesn't matter, because it said big earthquakes have happened. They happen all the time. The location does matter, of course. But anything that's going to happen at Yellowstone, it's not going to lead up to a super eruption. As I said, we're due for a smaller eruption, and smaller eruptions always lead to the bigger eruptions. Now, And that's what's ultimately going to occur again. We're going to have a small eruption, then eventually it's going to lead into the super eruption, which will happen. But that is not what's going to happen when it first goes at Yellowstone, like everyone keeps trying to say. There's plenty of scientists who say what I'm saying and what I truly think was going to happen if you look at the past and you look at what's there at Yellowstone. That's all you got to do. Plenty of stuff online. You can go there in person and check it out for yourself. So that's all I have to say. I hope you guys like this video. I'd like to put out more information like this and to be like debunk and just comment on other videos being put out, because I feel like this video in particular is just trying to scare you. It's trying to make you think that something epic is going on at Yellowstone when that is truly not the case. It's not the case at all. It's as I said, there is an uptick in geyser activity, but other than that, there's nothing crazy. Okay? If you want to know anything, keep an eye on the Yellowstone Plateau. It's been rising about 1.5 centimeters per year. But other than that, there's nothing around Yellowstone to really watch other than the geyser and the plateau. And if it goes, there's nothing we can do to prevent this volcano from erupting. But what we can do is not fearmonger and scare people about what could actually happen in this volcano. We need to look at what has happened prior and figure out what's going to happen in the future. Telling everyone it's going to be the worst disaster, worst catastrophe it's ever happened is false, because there is proof that it didn't happen instantly, that there were smaller eruptions before the large 3 eruptions. Okay? That's all I'm done. That's all I want to talk about today. I'm done with this video. I'd like to hear back from you, Dr. Shawn, but if you don't reply, I understand. Have a great day, guys.